Hi everyone, welcome to another of my mental health videos. In this video I'd like to expand on a question that someone asked me the other day. Now just the other day someone asked me, who had watched one of my videos, why did you walk away from the NHS Mental Health System, Paul? And in this video I'd like to explain why. Now from age 17 to 38, as I've mentioned previously, I went through the NHS Mental Health System. My OCD started at age 17 and 8 months later was when I first seen a psychologist at my local health centre. And within a couple of sessions, this psychologist diagnosed me with OCD. And I will always be grateful to this psychologist for diagnosing me with OCD and for giving me clarity just on the illness I was suffering from and why I was thinking so irrationally. And I did think at that time that I would improve, that my life would get better, that I had found the answers that I was looking for. But sadly this wasn't so. But it took me another 20 years going through that system to wake up to facts that I'm now going to share with you of why I left and why I walked away and why I now choose to work with a human behaviour expert. So during those 20 years, the pain within me just grew and grew. And like a lot of people, as I'll talk about in another video which is coming up, I turned to alcohol and drugs to give me relief from this pain, basically a means of self-medication. But one night when I was age 38, I was taken to the local hospital by the police and I was expecting to be sectioned for because my OCD had went to another level basically. And what happened was I met a psychologist that night and I wasn't sectioned. I was actually released within a few hours of entering the hospital. But the next days, or in the coming days after that, I started self-reflecting on my treatment during my time in the NHS. And what came to me was, it was repetitive. Every psychologist, psychiatrist or behavioural expert I've seen during that time to help me with my OCD and various other problems, my addictions, etc. They all asked me the same questions. They all asked me, did I have a happy childhood? And I did have a happy childhood. My problems started when I was 17. But they all asked me the same questions during those 20 years. The questioning never really changed. And the treatment never changed. CBT, ERP therapy for my OCD. It was always the same treatment. And there's a saying, and I believe the saying is, repeating the same thing over and over and expecting to get a different result can be the definition of insanity. I'm not sure if that's quite right, but the saying is something like that. And that's what it felt like for me during those days when I was reflecting back on my treatment in the NHS. And that's why I walked away from the NHS, because I felt like I was being treated to a script, a one-size-fits-all type of system. And I was actually sick and tired of it, and sick and tired of answering these same questions repeatedly over and over, such as, did you have a happy childhood? So that's the reasons why I walked away from the NHS Mental Health System. In my next video, I'm going to share with you why I work with the world's best healer, the world's best human behaviour expert. And in just one session that I had with this man, he said one sentence to me and it woke me up to so much of what had been going on in my life. And in that next video which I've just spoke about, I'm going to mention that sentence and expand on it for you all. So have a good evening and take care.